He whispered, "There's a drug in your drink." What followed shattered a billionaire's trust and exposed a secret darker than he ever imagined. The rooftop of the Carlton Regency shimmered with money. It was Landon Brooks's engagement party, private chef, drone fireworks, imported orchids, and one diamond as loud as the skyline. Billionaire, biotech mogul. Engaged to Ivy Cordell, the woman everyone described with words like elegant, impeccable, and perfect. As the music paused for toasts, Ivy clinked her champagne flute against his. "To us," she beamed, "the most compatible DNA on the eastern seaboard." Landon chuckled, raised his glass, and heard a whisper behind him. "There's a drug in your drink." A busboy, young, black, barely 15. He held a silver tray, eyes flicking to the glass, then to Landon. Landon didn't react. He set the drink down without sipping and watched the boy disappear into the crowd. Later, he caught up with him near the service entrance. "Say that again," Landon ordered. The boy didn't flinch. "There's a drug in your glass." She put it in. "She who?" The boy hesitated. "Help Z." "Then I'll tell you everything." "Who's Z?" He didn't answer, just said, "I'm not crazy. Check the glass." Then he slipped away. That night, Landon sent the drink to his private lab. "Test everything. Quietly," he said. Unanswered question. Who is Z, and why risk everything to protect her? By sunrise, Landon was already digging. The boy hadn't been on any catering list. No record. Ghost. But his words still echoed in Landon's mind. He searched Z. After hours of scrolling obscure blogs, he found it. A missing teen named Zahara M., 15, last seen at Midtown Women's Shelter. No media coverage, only a single faded photo. Bruised lip, hollow stare, terrified. He left immediately. The shelter receptionist looked tired. "Zahara," she echoed. "She came here 3 months ago. Stayed 2 weeks. Said she was being followed." "What happened?" "She vanished one night. But before that, a woman came asking about her. Said she was her aunt." "Name?" The receptionist narrowed her eyes. "Cordell." Landon's chest tightened. "What did she look like?" "White, designer coat. Real charming. Girl refused to speak to her." Fresh threat. Ivy had visited the shelter, but never mentioned it. That evening, Landon confronted Ivy as she sipped wine in their library. "You ever been to Midtown Women's Shelter?" he asked. She blinked. "Excuse me?" "Looking for a girl named Zahara." "Why would I do that?" "They say someone named Cordell came for her. Afterward, she disappeared." Ivy's smile thinned. "So now I'm abducting teenagers? What's next? You want to check my basement?" Landon didn't respond. She rose, brushing past him. "You've been off lately. You're seeing ghosts." Unanswered question. Is Ivy lying, or is Landon chasing shadows? The next morning, Landon received a call from his lab. "It was real," the technician said. "Your glass contained scopolamine and benzodiazepine. Makes people compliant. Causes memory loss." Could it have come from the champagne itself? No. This was mixed fresh. Low dose, but deliberate. And one more thing. Yes? The signature compound. It's not off the shelf. This was custom synthesized. You'd need a private lab. Landon hung up, stunned. Shock reveal. Someone with serious resources, not an amateur, had tried to drug him. That night, unable to sleep, Landon flipped through old photos. Ski trip, charity gala. Then he saw it. A picture of Ivy from 3 years ago. Her turtleneck had slipped just enough to reveal a small tattoo on her shoulder. CC. He remembered asking her once if she had ink. "Never," she'd said. "Too tacky, too permanent." But the photo didn't lie. Cliffhanger. Ivy had lied. About the shelter. About the tattoo. About something he couldn't name yet, but he could feel it rising beneath his skin. Landon couldn't sleep. The lab confirmed his glass had been drugged, with compounds only accessible through private labs. Someone had gone to great lengths, and that someone might be Ivy. He needed to find the boy. Trey. By morning, Landon traced him through catering records. Name, Trey Dorsey, 16. Lived in Bronxwood with his aunt. Landon drove there himself. The aunt barely cracked the door. He told me not to talk. Said someone's watching. I don't want to hurt him, Landon said. He saved me. At the mention of Zahara, she froze. She was like a sister to him, missing 2 months now. He said he saw her, in an Escalade. Ivy Cordell was inside. Unanswered question. What was Ivy doing with a missing teen? The aunt added something else. Trey said a name, Cordell Clinic. Landon blinked. He knew Ivy's father once ran a psychiatric facility. He searched old news clippings, Cordell Clinical Institute, shut down after lawsuits for illegal sedation and detainment. Ivy had been on the board at 23. Ticking clock. Was Ivy reviving her father's operation? That evening, Landon confronted her in a public cafe. I found Zahara's name in a shelter log, he said. They said someone named Cordell came looking for her. Ivy sipped her wine. You think I kidnapped her? I think you're hiding something. She leaned closer. You have no idea what she's been through. Not everyone's ready to live out there. Shock reveal. Ivy didn't deny knowing Zahara, just questioned her readiness for the outside world. That night, Landon got a ping from his condo's garage camera. Trey. He wasn't breaking in, just waiting. I had to come, Trey said. They're watching my place. But I know where she is. He led Landon to a shuttered estate in Westchester. From the outside, abandoned. Inside, too clean, too new. They found a staircase behind a cabinet. In the basement, Zahara, thin, mute with fear. She said, I'm not ready, Zahara whispered. She says I have to stay until I'm fixed. Trey nearly cried. We're taking you home. They lifted her up the stairs, but a black car rolled in. Ivy stepped out. No mask now. She's not stable, Ivy said coldly. You'll ruin her progress. You sedated her, Landon growled. You locked her in a basement. She wanted peace. I gave it. I'm done listening to you. Ivy stared at Zahara. You'll regret this. Both of you. At the hospital, doctors found Zahara bruised, malnourished, and one thing more, a tracking implant hidden behind her ear. Zahara didn't speak much the first day. Her eyes stayed glassy, voice barely above a whisper. But the doctor said enough. Bruises, sedatives in her system, and a surgically implanted tracker behind her ear. This isn't medical, the doctor said quietly. This is control. Landon didn't leave her side. Trey paced the hospital hall. He'd seen things no kid should see, and he knew it wasn't over. They're gonna come for her, Trey muttered. They don't stop. She's not the only one. What do you mean? Trey pulled a worn notebook from his hoodie. Inside, notes, initials, phrases Zahara had whispered during their last church meetings. One phrase circled in red, HOPE, harvesting obedience, psychological elimination. Landon stared. What is this? Trey looked up. She said they keep files. The clinic is just the front. Landon needed more, so he invited Ivy to his office, alone, with hidden recorders running. She arrived polished as ever. Still trying to play detective? She teased. He kept his tone flat. Zahara's alive. She's talking. Doctors found the implant. Police are involved. I see, she said without flinching. You sedated a child. I protected her. You locked her in a basement. She wanted peace. You drugged me. She raised a brow. You were getting paranoid. I had to slow you down. Shock reveal. Ivy never denied any of it. She simply reframed it as necessary. Landon slid Trey's notebook across the table. These names match girls from your father's clinic. Lawsuits, complaints. You think this is therapy? She smiled faintly. It's restoration. I'm going to the press. Be my guest, Ivy said calmly. You think they'll run with this? Black girl, white fiancé, no footage, just noise. And then she added, I'm not the only Cordell. Unanswered question. Who else was involved? And how deep did this go? That night, Landon gave everything to Ethan Chan. a seasoned investigative journalist. Lab results, photos, Zahara's medical file, the notebook. Ethan went quiet. 3 days later, Trey's hotel room was broken into. No cash stolen, only the notebook. "They're erasing everything," Trey said. "We're next." Landon moved him to a guarded safe house, but the warning was clear: stop digging or else. Zahara finally spoke in therapy. "She made us say things," she whispered. "That silence is strength. That pain was weakness. That only the pure deserved light." "Who made you say that?" the therapist asked. "The lady in white," Zahara said. "She ran the purity program." Fresh threat. This was not one case. It was a system. At 4 a.m., Ethan called. Cordell's Family Trust owns 3 other clinics. 2 are still active under fake names. One's listed as Valentina Properties, same alias Ivy used on her offshore account. Ticking clock. Girls could still be trapped right now. Landon took the findings to the DA. She frowned. "You have enough to scare her, not to convict. If we move too soon, she walks. Then we draw her out." They called it the Reignite Hope Gala. Same venue, same skyline. Ivy Cordell's name was splashed across every invitation. She believed it was her redemption tour, a fundraiser to reclaim her image after weeks of silence. Landon let her believe it. He greeted guests with poise, thanked donors, nodded politely as Ivy basked in camera flashes. "We're stronger than ever," she told a reporter. "This night is about healing." Trey watched from the upper balcony, dressed sharp, still nervous. Ethan Chan sat in the media pit, camera crew ready. The DA waited behind a velvet curtain. Everyone had their role. Then Landon stepped onto the stage. "Tonight isn't about branding," he began. "It's about truth." A few claps, a few confused stares. He continued, voice steady. 3 weeks ago, I was almost drugged at my own engagement party. A boy warned me. I listened." He tapped a remote. Behind him, a screen lit up, showing Zahara's hospital intake report. The bruises, the implant. Gasps rippled through the room. Next came images from Cordell Clinical Archives, lawsuits, sedation protocols, property transfers, and finally, a clip from Ivy's recorded meeting in Landon's office. "You sedated a child," his voice echoed from the screen. Her reply played in crystal clarity. She wanted peace. Shock reveal. Ivy, exposed by her own words. For the first time in years, Ivy froze. No smile, no control. Landon turned to her. "You want to say something?" She stood, straightened her gown. "This is your stunt?" she hissed. "You think this'll last? You think you'll win?" "You're not the only Cordell," Landon said, "but you're the first we'll take down." 2 plainclothes officers approached. Ivy didn't fight. She looked at Trey as they reached her. "You," she whispered. "You always needed saving." "No," Trey replied. "I needed someone to believe me." Outside, the footage exploded across social media. News anchors called it the Billionaire's undoing. But it wasn't Landon's undoing. It was Ivy's. Within 24 hours, 2 other estates tied to Cordell Trust were raided. 3 more girls were rescued. One of them had the same tracking implant as Zahara. Unanswered question. How many more were still out there? The DA held a press conference citing ongoing investigation into a cross-state psychological exploitation network. But Landon stayed silent. He didn't want headlines. He wanted protection for those who'd been unheard. Trey was offered witness protection. He declined. "I've been hiding long enough," he said. "Let them see me." Zahara returned home. She wasn't whole, not yet, but she smiled when Trey showed up with a guitar and awkward pizza. "You're not broken," he told her. "They just tried to dim you." 2 weeks later, Ivy's attorney requested bail. The judge denied it. "The accused represents a coordinated psychological and physical threat," he ruled. Landon watched from the back of the courtroom. Ivy glanced once at him, as if searching for some piece of the man who had once loved her. But he didn't look away. Ticking clock. Ivy's trial was months away, but her empire was collapsing fast. Later that month, Landon sat down for a single interview. "Why didn't you stay quiet?" the journalist asked. He replied, "Because the people who shout for help don't always have megaphones. Sometimes all they get is a whisper, and if you ignore it, someone vanishes." Final reflection. Zahara was never supposed to be found. Trey was never supposed to speak. Ivy was never supposed to get caught. But one whisper changed everything. In a world obsessed with power and polish, truth is rarely elegant. It's messy, risky, inconvenient. But it's also the only thing that saves lives. Sometimes justice begins when you finally decide to listen.